Welcome to my first DVD update for January 2010, my first of the year. And I guess everybody says that. Alright, up first on the list is Inglourious Basterds, starring Brad Pitt, directed by Quentin Tarantino. This is an excellent Quentin Tarantino movie, and that's my roommate's cat Maggie stopping by to say hello, too. Anyways, starring Brad Pitt, and it's about these American commandos that drop behind German lines and basically scalps Nazis. And that's a good thing to do with the Nazi, is you gotta scalp them. I mean, in this movie you learn about the Bear Jew, ooh, that's pretty scary, and Hugo Ziegler. Wow, that dude just fucking rocks. Anyways, there's also a bunch of other different stories, because, good old Quentin Tarantino fashion, it's just not about Brad Pitt running around scalping Nazis, even though I could have liked the whole movie with just that alone. But basically it's about a bunch of different stories that all intertwine to the end, and the end is so cool. I mean, it just rocks. I mean, I would definitely recommend this movie. Like I said, it starts off a little slow, but I mean, builds character, and in the scenes where Germans talk and French people talk, it's subtitled, which is really cool, so it keeps a little more authentic to the movie and the time period of that era. And also, if the commandos could actually do this back in World War II, I think the war probably would have been a lot shorter. But I would definitely recommend this movie. It's lots of good action, great storyline to it, the characters are amazing, and like I said, definitely pick up this one. Even if you're not a World War II fan or into those kind of movies, it's still definitely worth catching. Quentin Tarantino and Brad Pitt so rock this movie. Alright, next up on my list is one that I'll give a shout out to, Venus Syndrome. She reviewed this one and recommended it, called Showgirls with Elizabeth Berkley. I gotta admit, I've always seen this movie around in VHS form, DVD, and I never really been in the mood to pick it up because I heard it was really, really bad. And I gotta admit, it's so bad, it's good. I mean, it's about over 2 hours long, and it's about basically this girl who just basically starts hitchhiking to get to Vegas to become a showgirl. That's what she wants to do, but sometimes her past comes back to haunt her a little bit. But, I mean, it's really good. I mean, Elizabeth Berkley, I would say, was almost like a diamond in the rough. I mean, because her acting at certain parts were really good, but it's just bad. And, whoa, it says right here, you must be over 18 to rent this movie. And they are not kidding. I mean, this is almost, they could have almost made a porno out of this one. I mean, she gets butt naked and does some things that just makes you go, whoa. I mean, like I said, it is so bad, it's good. I mean, it's one of the cheesiest movies I've seen in a long time, and I highly recommend it. And it even has a pretty interesting plot twist. It makes you go, whoa, wasn't not expecting that. So I would definitely check this one out if you get a chance to see it. Show you the back here. But yeah, it's Elizabeth Berkley, definitely worth checking out. Even if you haven't seen it, maybe rent it on Netflix or something. But it's really good cheese. Next song on my list that I have not seen since the 80s and totally forgot about this movie, called The King of Comedy, starring Robert De Niro and Jerry Lewis, and also has co-starring Sandra Bullock in it. Not Sandra Bullock. What is her name? Well, it's this chick right here. I'm drawing a blank on her name, don't ask me why, but it's a Martin Scorsese film, and basically it's about a comedian called Rupert Pupkin. I mean, I love that name. I mean, seriously, Rupert Pupkin. I might even change my name to that. But it's a comedian that basically wants to become like the late night talk show host, like what Jerry Lewis's show is about. But he's never had really experience. He's just practiced a lot in his basement with a laugh track. He has an audience made out of cardboard cut up, like on a back wall, where he just basically does monologues and jokes to practice his craft, and he really believes he's ready for it. But unfortunately, the king of comedy, Jerry Lewis, and his talk show doesn't think he's quite got it, so he decides to basically kidnap Jerry Lewis and put on his own show. And it's kind of funny because it goes back and forth in his mind. He has like these fake conversations with Jerry Lewis, like over dinner or meetings about being famous and a comedian actor. I mean, it's really, really good. It's kind of like almost a stalking type movie. And there's one line in it is totally excellent. I'll give you a little spoiler on it. It says, "It's better to be king for a night than a schmuck for a lifetime." And, there's a lot of truth to that. So it's a comedy. It has a pretty cool insert here, like the front cover. Back of it, too. And big head of Jerry Lee Lewis right there. I called him Jerry Lee Lewis, sorry. Jerry Lewis. I don't know what I'm thinking about today. But anyway, it's called The King of Comedy. Starring Robert De Niro. Not too many people have heard about this movie because it's like one of his, I want to say one of his earlier films, but it's definitely worth picking up if you have not seen this. It's funny, and it's, like I said, it's kind of a twist how Robert De Niro just has these imaginary conversations with Jerry Lewis. Next up on my list is Johnny Depp in Public Enemy, with starring, Johnny Depp, duh. But it's basically about John Dillinger, and I did an early review where Warren Oates, played John Dillinger and did a good job. This one was okay. I was really hoping, because it got Johnny Depp, that they would go more in depth of the character. Well, not character, because he was a real-life guy, of John Dillinger, like, more of his feelings and passion. So, all in all, there were certain scenes where it was kind of slow, and, like, when I was watching with friends, they'd get confused. They'd be like, well, who's this guy? Was that guy a member of his gang? And it's like, yeah, I'm explaining it all to him because I know the history of John Dillinger. So, in some ways, it was alright. I mean, if you want to check it out, maybe wait until, I don't know, TNT or HBO or something like that. I mean, the end scene was excellent, how they, basically killed John Dillinger. But, in all in all, they left some really key moments of John Dillinger's life out of this movie. Also stars Christian Bale as Melvin Purvis, the FBI agent that's chasing John Dillinger, which is... He was like okay in it too. I mean, his acting just wasn't really there for the movie. I mean, it just really didn't gear off. I mean, so if you really want a good movie about John Dillinger, I would recommend the one with Warren Oates called Public Enemy. But I know they not Public Enemy. It was called Dillinger, starring Warren Oates. My man, it's just I need some caffeine for when this review's over. But anyways, I mean, it might be worth checking out. I mean, I just thought it was okay. It wasn't all that great. I mean, I really, really loved the ending of it, and there were certain scenes that were cool. But all in all, it was just lacking. It just seemed like there was so much they could have done with this, but they just chose not to. And no offense against Johnny Depp, because I pretty much love everything this guy has done. I mean, he's a really good actor, but this one was just, okay. And I'll show you the back of it a little bit here. There we go. So, yeah, if you got it, cool. If you liked it, no offense, towards it if you really think it's a great movie, because everybody's favorite movie is somebody's worst movie, so that's just how it goes. But anyways, next up on my list is one that I have not seen, even though it should be under a review but not an update, but it's worth an update. Steve Martin in a where am I today? Steve Martin in a Carl Reiner movie, Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. Now, probably some of you have probably heard of this 80s film. When I first saw it, I kind of got the humor, but I didn't get it because, when I first saw it, I just thought it was all these actors that were in it were still alive, so I was like, okay. But now I appreciate the humor more to this because the way they filmed it is in black and white, and he acts with older movies, such as James Cagney, also, I'm drawing a blank on everything today. I'll think of it as I go along. Anyways, they take old gangster movies from the 20s, 30s, and 40s and put it into this movie. And even with Humphrey Bogart's in it, and a lot of fine female actresses are in it too. And the way they splice it together, it just rolls into one movie. So where Steve Martin's doing his funny stuff, they cut to like Humphrey Bogart saying his line from a different movie, and it just rolls with the flow. You can see a young Kirk Douglas in this movie too, and stars Steve Martin, Rachel Ward, even Carl Reiner gave himself a part in this movie. Here's the back of the book there. She shows how you get a bullet out of an arm by sucking it out. I gotta admit, Rachel Ward's pretty hot in this movie. And of course here's like another insert of the inside, which is kind of cool that they did. And anyways, there it is. Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. I highly recommend this movie because I was, like I said, really impressed on how they did it. It's all like taking older movies, putting in new stuff, but you couldn't really tell. The editing is so well done in this, and unless you know, like Steve Martin, and you know these older films, you can say where it's new and old. But if you really don't know much on, or seen a lot older movies, or much on Steve Martin, you might think the movie just rolls in together. But of course, a lot of these actors, just like Humphrey Bogart, is long since passed on. And here's the back of it. And it's really good. You know, he plays a private detective that's hired by Rachel Ward, trying to find out what happened to her father and stuff. And it's just a really good, fun movie. I mean, highly recommend this movie. It's done very well. Sorry, I'm a little spaced out today. Like I said, I should have had some caffeine before doing this movie update. But I'm just like,